after we've gone through Velnos' little side quest and Cham's, now we're down to you, and your quest is interesting. Gregor has some information on your quest if you want to go talk to him. He says he has an item that you might be interested in since you do like dead things. Well, you see, I have this information that there's an old guard post that's out near the Wildlands to the west. And apparently, it's been taken up by a very powerful Necromancer. That Necromancer has a very powerful item that you might find useful. Apparently, it does something to your undead. It makes them able to do a bunch of different little things. I'm not quite sure how much and what, but it's probably worth checking out. Especially because that way you get to wipe a Necromancer off the face of the earth.
Have I ever heard of an item like this?
It's a magical item, so most magical items in this universe are relatively unique unless it's like, oh, it's a potion of this, or it's an item of this. It seems like the item that he's talking about, though, would be something that would be some sort of an enchantment or some sort of a magical item that has multiple enchantments on it.
Okay, I just didn't know if this was like a dwarf fortress kind of thing where the items have histories even if they are unique and I might know something about it.
In terms of this item, no. You do not recognize anything of historical value from what he is describing. So he does mark the location of this. It's an old lookout tower. So basically it's one of those, basically just a pillar that goes up into the sky with a little bit of a crow's nest type of thing. One of those type of towers. It was used as an advanced guard post when Fire Sand Palace was not under the command of the Dragonborn, but now since they've taken over, it's basically fallen into dilapidation and the jungle has started to sort of reclaim it.
Incredibly gaudy. I love it. Let's go find him and kill him.
All right, so so Gregor marks the location on your map, so you guys can go there. He doesn't really need to come with you. You guys ride out to this tower, and once you get there, it's not too far away from where the Oasis is. Again, it's similar to the other things. It's a couple days' ride. And once you get there, you see that it is a tower, and it has a bunch of vines and everything growing all over it. And it looks like it hasn't really been used in a relatively long time, a number of years. But you do see that it appears there is a front door, and it is closed.
Dude, just knock.
Yes, I suppose I will. And I knock on the door very gently.
You knock on the door, nothing happens.
I'm gonna knock on the door like a man.
Strength roll.
Dog.
Okay, Velnos, are you using the armor while you're doing this?
Of course I am.
Okay, that's a 17. So you walk up with your wood druid armor on, and you smack on the door, and as you smack on the door, your fist has enough weight where the door hinges actually break, and the door just falls in. You look inside, and what would normally you would expect to be the inside of a dilapidated old building that would be covered in junk and dust is instead a massive expanse of empty space flooded with purple light, and there appears to be a floating stone walkway that leads to a rather pointy purple tower in the distance.
Oh, it's the Necron Tower.
Oh, good lord, it's the Sautek dynasty. Just a floating pathway. Is there anything wrong with the pathway visibly?
Visibly, no. It's relatively wide. It's wide enough it's probably like about 25 to 30 feet wide. And it goes from basically the door that you're standing at all the way up to this large floating rock where the tower is standing. It doesn't appear that there's anything malicious necessarily about the path, although you don't necessarily know how that world works. You're just going to walk down the path, or are you going to do any kind of detection or anything like that?
While he makes up his mind, I'm just gonna skate down the pathway. Fuck yeah.
Well, as well.
You're going to skate with him?
Hell yeah.
I suppose I'll just let them go on ahead. I would like to cast a detect magic just to see if there's anything specifically hostile, not so much as there's magic in the room, because that's pretty obvious.
You detect that the entire realm is bathed in some form of dark magic, but there's nothing specific necessarily that stands out to you currently that's malicious other than the tower. So each one of you is going to roll a balance roll to balance and ride on the skateboard down this floating pathway of rocks. Okay, Velnos, you ace that. Cham, was that your roll there?
Yep.
Alright, so Velnos, you grow 2 bark boards out of each of your feet that connect in the middle to make a board, a one flat board that's under both your feet, and that board then proceeds to spout 2 sets of wooden wheels, and Cham, you're able to rub your nasty little frog hands all over the wheels to grease them in slime or whatever, and you then hop on the back of the skateboard, and as you ride down the center of the path, you see an undead skeleton pops out of the ground directly in front of you, only a single one. Do you hit it, or do you roll reflex to try and jump off and dodge?
Let's hit it. Let's hit it.
Hit that bitch.
So you're going to go completely into it, so I'm going to negate the attack roll and just have you roll damage. Velnos, because you're fairly hefty in that armor, I'm going to say you're going to do 2d10 damage, and Cham, because you're small, I think you're going to do 2d4 damage. Each one of you can roll. So you did 4, and Cham also did 4. So you guys plow into the skeleton and destroy it completely. It just shatters into bits of bone. You then hop off the skateboard right after it, and the skeleton then immediately reforms and turns around to you with glowing purple eyes. Its mouth then opens, and you see a purple light. However, it doesn't move its mouth, but it does speak. It speaks in the voice of an old man. What are you doing here? Why are you in my realm? It also turns to Arch specifically and yells at him because he is the only one that it senses that has actual dark magic about him. What are you doing here?
I'm here to visit.
I don't get visitors. By the way, this is my intercom system.
Excellent. I do admire the work. I myself am a worker of things unclean and undead and disgusting, hence these stupid goons I have with me.
Well, what are you here for other than to enjoy the sights?
Well, I'm sure there's a sort of a understanding between the Brotherhood of anybody who works with the undead that what you kill is what you own, so, you know.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I don't have that many friends, and most of them I've already reanimated out of corpses. So if you wouldn't mind leaving my realm, like now, before I start bringing them out.
No, I do believe that we could just get this over with. You could come down. Make it a lot easier on me.
Well, first of all, I think I'll have you meet Gerald. He's a friend of mine I found a long time ago up in No Man's Land.
Wonderful. I'm sure he'll be my friend as well.
The skeleton then immediately falls to pieces, and you see a different creature rise out of the ground. It appears to be an undead skeletal remains of a white dragon.
Oh, cool.
No.
Just a question. How much hit dice would you think? Turn undead is also rebuke undead, which allows me to just take control of other undead materials.
The white dragon has more hit die than that.
Well, shit. Okay.
Can
All right.
I share some of the power of the amulet to imbue his magic further?
No, it will only harm his magic because he is using dark magic as opposed
right.
to you, which is elven magic, which is light magic.
What if he corrupts the amulet?
If he corrupts the amulet, then that would mean that the armor would eat you alive from the outside and turn you into an undead husk.
You want me to corrupt that there, buddy?
No, don't you dare. No, try to corrupt it. Maybe you'll get cursed.
No, it wouldn't curse him. It would just mean that the crystal would probably let off a defense mechanism, which would probably just harm him. The dragon is up and is walking and upright, and it does not look very happy to see any of you, so you're probably going to have to roll initiative.
Before anything happens, I, fast as possible, pop off, because of the whole divine meta magic thing, I'm going to buff the shit out of us.
What buffs are you going to be using?
So for each one of them, I'm going to hit with the bull strength, so it's +4 to strength.
Uh-huh.
And this is capitalizing on maximize and quicken and twin spell, as basically as cheating as much as I can. Then Doom, which is any enemies in the area gain a -2 to saves and attacks. And Prayer, which is all allies gain a +1 to any save and attacks, and all enemies gain a -1 to saves and attacks.
Alright, so that still is going to mean that you guys are going to have to roll initiative.
Alright, gentlemen, smash its face in, please.
And the dragon rolled a 2.
I got a 1.
Velos rolled a 19. Cham rolled an 18.
Yeah, I'm hiding.
Where are you going to hide? No, it's a floating rock path in the middle of a floating essence world that's purple. There's no place where you can hide unless you want to hide behind Velnos.
Can I share the wood?
You can grow something and give it to him. You throw a patch of moss at his face.
Fuck it, I'm using invisibility.
Okay, you can use invisibility.
I do that.
Kane, what do you get additions to that?
Yeah, I forgot to add it. It's 5, so it's 18.
So Velnos, you can choose what you want to do first.
I want to punch it in the face.
You want to use your strength gauntlet for that?
Yeah.
Alright, so that means that's a +8. So you rolled 8, so that's a 16. That will hit.
Okay, giving it to targeted attack.
it's 26. Regardless, you still don't do an extreme amount of damage. You do enough. You knock out a couple of his teeth and he spits them out. But again, he's an undead, so pain really isn't 100% affecting him all that much. But still, that is 26 damage, so that is enough to do a bit of a decent amount to him. So now that's going to go down to Kane is the next one on the list. So Kane, what are you going to do?
So just use the rifle. It looks like it's the best bet right now.
Probably. It also keeps you farthest away from that thing's face.
Okay, I think I'm gonna use the fire bullets.
White dragons are immune to frost damage, so you can use fire bullets to do the correct damage to it, so you can roll for that. Alright, so that's 17, so I'm going to say that hit.
Alright, let's go.
So that's 40 damage with the fire bullets. So Kane, you shoot the fire shot, and it hits him right in the front upper part of his chest. And the fire then proceeds to spread over to his arm, seriously burning the body. Again, he's not alive, he's dead, so he doesn't really feel pain, but the damage is enough to injure a lot of the ligaments in one of his arms, so it's going to be kind of hard for him to use that claw. So you did cripple one of his 3 attacks by doing that. Now it is his turn. So he is going to attack, and again, he gets 2 attacks on this turn. The nat 1 obviously does not hit, so that's a bite. That's his bite attack. And keep in mind, he is also going to attack Velnos, since Velnos is the one that's directly in front of him and just punched him in the face. The 16, however, will hit. So we will see how much damage he actually does to Velnos. Alright, so that's 8 damage, Velnos. So he claws your armor for 8 damage, so he doesn't actually get through it that well. Your armor takes a brunt of the attack, but that little bit, that 8 damage, does get through to you, so it does hit you. But now, because he missed his other attack, it's going to go down to Arch. So Arch, you can now choose to do what you want to do to it.
I am going to essentially just chill touch, which is it's a special ability from being Deathbound Domain.
Okay.
And it is not a cold damage, it's like a life force sucking thing.
Okay, then yeah, you can do that. It's a cone, and he only has a limited amount of area, so you can hit him and the cone, so you can just calculate for damage then.
13 damage.
Fucking succubus.
So you do 13 damage to him, so you sucked that amount of life out of him. It's more of a nuisance to him at this point, although he is severely damaged from the Magnum round and from the busted teeth. Are you going to do something, Cham?
So, I'm invisible.
Yes.
I'm jumping up towards his neck. I'm going to do a sneak attack.
So if you're going to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to roll a move silently so that he doesn't hear you coming, because he can't see you coming, obviously.
It's a nat 20.
Okay, well, you definitely move silently. He has no idea what's coming to him. Okay, that's going to hit. The first 2 will hit no matter what, so yes. And also because you are doing damage to a target, both of those are also going to crit. Is going to be 89. So here's what happens. Because you're going directly for its neck, you take your tongue dagger and you basically kind of use it as a waypoint guider. So what you do is, as you're getting closer to the dragon, you shoot your tongue out. The dagger embeds into the dead flesh that is in the dragon's neck, and you're able to pull yourself closer. At the same time, you are winding up with the dark blade with both hands, and you proceed to cleave your way through the dragon's neck and head at the same time, pulling yourself through and removing the dagger in its neck as you fly by. You land on the opposite side in what seems like almost an instantaneous motion, and as the dragon begins to turn, you see its head fall off. The dragon then falls to the ground and dissolves into bones and dust. Alright, so the dragon is dead. That means the pathway to the tower is now open to you.
You guys are welcome. As I just wipe my hands, and we're like,
Thank you, darling.
I do that generic smile, thumbs up, and the freaking teeth gleam.
I gesture towards the pathway and I start walking. Shall we, lads?
You guys continue on to reach up to the door. As you get close to the door, it swings open, and an old man in a purple robe with a glowing purple gauntlet with a massive purple gem embedded in the back of it walks out of the building. What do all of you idiots want in my dimension?
I'm gonna trip him with the fucking whip.
I'm going to give that as an attack of opportunity if you want to try it right now. You have 1 roll to do this in.
Come on, baby. Ah, fuck you.
You just kind of whip in front of him, and he just looks at you and goes, "Oh, kinky. Maybe we'll test that out later."
I'm going to tackle him to the ground.
Velmo's already made a move, so if you want to try and tackle him, he's going to have a chance to do a reflex save now. Cham, as you try and leap for him, he just kind of olays out of the way like a bullfighter and just lets you kind of pass by him and slam into the door behind him. Take 1d6 damage. Numero uno. Now, basically what he says is, well, that was fun. Now you guys get to deal with an army of undead. Have fun with all this. He then snaps his fingers, and skeletons begin popping out of the ground around you, Jason and the Argonaut style. And there are several dozen of them that are now surrounding you. So you also are able to discern that whenever he snaps his fingers, he is using that gauntlet hand to do it.
I'm going invisible.
I will give you a chance to go invisible because you're now behind him after you hit the wall, so he's not going to notice that. Everybody else is going to have to roll initiative. And because he has that many thralls, basically what's going to happen is there's going to be a couple of thralls that are going to be able to go after every single one of your turns.
Is he standing anywhere near a minion?
Everybody is surrounded by minions. They have popped up everywhere. There are some that are near him, yes.
Put your faith on me.
I'll just maintain turning the undead then.
Alright, so you're going to try and turn the undead to your cause?
Yeah.
So, again, what's going to happen is everybody's going to have to roll initiative, including him, 12, 19, 14. And in between each one of you, except for his roll, obviously, is going to be 2 minions that are also going to attack the nearest target on that turn. So the first one up is going to be Archie. You're going to be able to do whatever you want first off.
Okay, I am going to use my fucking turn undead. 18 of the undead are turned. Just like, turn around, start attacking the other guys.
Okay, so there are a total of 24 undead that are currently on the battlefield in addition to you guys. So 18 of those undead randomly are turned. The other 6 are still under his control.
Yeah, and I just point at him and say, beat his dick. And not in the fun way.
You change all of them over. So now there are 6 that are still loyal to him, however, so that change spell is going to be your turn. So those 2 are going to attack the nearest target to them, which should be Velnos. The 4 is going to miss, the 16 is going to hit. Like I said, they only do 1d4 damage. It does 4 damage to Velnos. So Velnos, one of them just gives you a mighty whack on the back. Now it's going to go down to the Necromancer, and he is going to use Turn Undead to make sure all of those undead are now back under his control, which means they will not attack him on his next turn, and they will instead attack you. Now, since I said that his undead don't go on his turn, only he goes on his turn, that means it's going to go down to Velnos. Cham, you're jumping in, I assume? So that's going to hit. 27, and because you're using the sneak attack and you got a nat 20, that's going to be doubled to a 54. Plus 33 is going to take it from a 54 to a 57, then to an 87. That is well more than what his health is. You cleaved him in half with the Darksaber from dick to brain, and he then splits in half the long way and falls halfway onto the ground. The army of undead that is around you immediately despawns, and the gauntlet stops glowing on his arm.
I'm immediately going to approach, take it off the arm, wiggle the hand out, and then put it on my own hand.
As you put it on your own hand, you immediately understand how this item works because you are familiar with a lot of things involving necromancy. So basically what that crystalline gauntlet does is it's a channeling gauntlet. Anything that you can do, now your undead can do as well. So if you want to cast a spell and you have an undead, you can cast it through that undead. And in turn, make it so if you wanted an undead crab to cast Fireball, it can now cast Fireball. The other option you have with it is that it has the ability to combine undead. Let's say you have an army of undead thralls that are all humans. You can have the option to have them combine into one undead mass of writhing death flesh. And basically what it does is it combines all of their HP into one pool, and then it also adds all of their attacks together. So let's say you had 20 and they all did 1d4. That means if you combine them into one unit and you send that unit against somebody, that does 20d4 damage on hit.
You understand that you've essentially given me the ability to make jihadi undead and destroy the whole goddamn world, right?
If you would like to, you can try. Unholy masses of death. So by the way, just to let you know, as soon as Arch takes that gauntlet off and puts it on, the entire dimension begins to fall apart. The tower begins to collapse in on itself, and you can see that some of the stones on the floating bridge appear to be losing their buoyancy. I'm gonna go with a reflex save, because you're gonna be running. Ooh.
That's a natty 1.
Oh god.
Grab him by the tongue.
Kane, so what's going to happen is you're going to try and leap, and you're going to slip as everybody is running for the gate. Velnos, are you on your skateboard?
Yes, I am.
I'm going to give you a dexterity check to grab him as you're skateboarding by. Oh! Okay.
I can live with
That's
that.
20. So, Ken, you fall down and Velnos sees you. He's riding by with a skateboard. He very quickly reaches his hand down, grabs the back of your cloak, and lifts you up and puts you on the front of his skateboard. So you're riding on that thing kind of like a hood ornament. And all of you guys manage to get back through the open door before the dimension itself collapses. And as it does, the little portal that led into this universe with this necromancer fades away. And inside you see what appears to be a normal, dilapidated building full of dust and junk.
Well, that was exciting. A little bit of a Jumanji adventure, I suppose. Shall we head back to camp?
I'm looking at the hilt to my dark saber. I'm like, I love this thing, and start like just so fixated on the hilt. I'm just start walking towards the camels that we have.
Just to add that little extra bit of something, I am 100% going to undead human centipede those camels. Just because I can.
You make a human centipede out of undead zombie camels. They are now a zombie train of camels with you in the front, riding the front camel.
Oh, yeah.
Velnos has now apparently discovered an alternate mode of transportation with his new wooden skateboard.